Okay? So, speaking of forces, okay? So, it's most proper, okay? So, sa nung nakaraang video, nasabi ko na, it is the your force is equivalent to your mass times acceleration. Okay? So, maybe I will erase these things. Okay? So, considering forces, okay? Review muna natin yung, maybe we can review. Okay? Maybe we can review the laws of the Newtonian laws. Okay? Okay. So maybe we can, okay? Uh, okay. So, as we can remember, okay, yung Newton's law of motion is nahahati siya sa first, second, and third law. Okay. So, this is just a review. Okay. Baka nakalimutan nyo na yung napag-aralan nyo nung physics. Okay. So, simplify lang natin ang definition. Okay. Kasi alam naman natin, pag inulit natin yung nasa libro, parang nawawalan siya ng value. I mean, alam mo naman na meron na palang libro, then naghanap ka pa ng another alternative. Maybe we should focus not so much on the textbook concept. Okay. So, simplify natin. Pag sinabi nating Newton's law of motion, may tatlo dyan. First law, second law, and third law. Okay? So, sana naalala nyo. Pag sinabi natin yung first law of motion, it is said that, okay, first law of motion generally states that, okay, so a body or particle, okay, so parang ganito yan, okay, so this is not an exact definition, okay, so let us say it is just like simplified definition. So a body or particle will remain at rest or in, okay, or in ano yun? Kalimutan ko na. Remain at rest or in or maybe it is say that move, okay, or move in constant speed unless, okay, unless so meaning yung body or particle mo will remain at rest or move in constant speed unless acted by unbalanced force. Anong ibig sabihin ito? Okay? So, ibig sabihin yan na accordingly, yung first law, okay, so parang ito, para itong eraser. So, according sa first law, yung particle mo daw is mananatili siyang at rest or in constant motion. Okay? So, nagmo-move siya in constant speed or constant velocity. Okay? So, ibig sabihin pala niyan, walang force. Okay? So, meaning if the particle is at rest or moving at a constant speed or velocity, it has zero force. Okay? It is experiencing zero force in that direction of the motion. Okay? So, your first law is basically the law of inertia. Okay? So, this is also called as the law of inertia. So, ibig sabihin, the only force that exists in the first law is the weight of the particle or body itself. But there is no other forces acting on that body, okay? In mechanics perspective, it's only meron lang siyang weight. Yun lang yung force nag-act sa kanya. Pero yung weight na para i-move siya, ay force na para i-move siya is equivalent to 0. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, in first law, yung force natin is equivalent to 0. Kasi, at rest siya. O di kaya, gumalaw man siya at constant speed or velocity siya, gumalaw. Okay. So, ganun yun yung first law. Yung second law naman is, okay? So, paano nga ba? Okay, so, i-paraphrase natin. Okay. So, maybe, the second law is, okay? So, it is said that, the force, okay? So, parang ganito yung pagka-explain niya, okay? So, hindi to exactly, okay? So, itong isusulat ko is not exactly what, word by word na masasabi dun na nasa Google. So, let us say, in second law, the force acting on a particle, okay, is equal to, okay, the change in momentum over the change in time. Okay. So, maybe, ilisin muna natin yung third law. Dito natin ilagay yung third law mamaya. Yan. Okay? The force acting on a particle is equal to the change in momentum over the change in time. And then, meron pang specific clause ng second law in which na kapag if the mass is constant, okay, so we say that your force, okay, the force is, okay, the force is, okay, so the force acting on the particle or body, okay, if the mass is constant, the force acting on the particle is directly proportional to acceleration. Okay? Ganyan. So, sana, okay. So, i-resin muna natin to. Okay? So, alam naman, yung sa first law, okay? So, para mas maintindihan natin, ganito natin na. So, yung first law parang ganito. So, kapag at rest, alam naman natin na yung velocity is 0. Okay? Yung V natin is velocity. And yung acceleration natin is 0. So, ibig sabihin, yung force natin is equal to 0. Yan yung nasa first law. Okay? So, at constant speed or velocity, yung V natin may value, okay, sabay natin is non-zero yung velocity niya, pero yung acceleration niya is 0. So, yung force mo, 0 pa rin. Kay second law naman, ganito yung sitwasyon. Okay? So, dalawa yan. So, posible yung body mo, okay? Posible mo yung body mo is hindi constant yung mass niya. Posible dahil sa paggalaw ng body, okay? Posible may portion ng mass niya yung mawala. Pero yung momentum niya, okay, is nag-change. So, parang ganito yan. So, yung force mo, instead dito sa second law is, your force is equivalent to the change in momentum over the change in time. Okay, so other definition will say the change in momentum with respect to time that has lapsed. Okay, so therefore it is the change. Okay, so your triangle, it means, it signifies change. So change in momentum over the change in time. Okay, so ano nga ba yung momentum? Okay, so yung momentum mo, is equivalent to mass times velocity. Okay, remember this formula. Your momentum is equivalent to mass times velocity. So therefore, posible kasi mag-change yung mass natin. So pwede mass, okay, so mass final, or sabihin na natin M2, sabihin na natin yung M2 is yung velocity niya after, and then yung mass pala niya after, and then yung velocity niya is mass after, velocity after, and then minus M1 V1. Okay? So, sabihin natin yung 2 is yung kailan natapos yung motion. Okay? M2. And then, yung M1 is yung initial. Pwede rin nating sabihin M final. Okay? Para mas madali, sabihin natin MF or M final, V final, and then minus M initial over V initial over T final minus T initial. So, ganito yung pag-compute ng force according to second law. Okay? Sorry. T initial to dapat. Okay? Okay. So, other than that, yung second law mo, okay? So, maybe gamit tayo ng ibang board. Okay? Ito. Okay, so para hindi natin ma-erase yung isa. So from this, okay, so sana nakikita nyo ng maayos. Okay? So yung isa sa second law, okay? So alam naman natin pwedeng ganito, force, okay, sa second law ha. Yung F natin is equivalent to the change in momentum over the change in time. So, ibig sabihin, F is M final, V final, minus M initial, times V initial. Okay? Over T final, minus T initial. So, ganyan. Change in momentum over change in time. Ito yung equivalent ng change in momentum. Since yung momentum natin is equivalent to mass times velocity, and then okay, so ganito. Pwede ito. So this is valid kahit na nag-change yung mass ng object. Pero kapag constant yung mass, okay, pag constant yung mass, pwede mo tong gamitin, simplify. your force is equal to mass times acceleration. So, simplified lang yan. Kasi alam naman natin na yung mass is constant. Okay, so yung acceleration is the change in velocity over the change in time. Okay, so please remember that your acceleration is the change of velocity over the change in time, which means it's equivalent to V final minus V initial over T final minus T initial. Okay? So, it is basically assumed that your T initial is 0. Okay? So, ganyan. Yan yung second law. So, balik tayo. So, meron pa tayong tinatawag na third law of motion. Okay? So, how do we define the third law of motion? Okay. So, yung third law, okay, so this is the first law, second law. So, I will erase this one for the meantime. So, this is the third law. So, the third law, okay, states that in every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Okay? So, ganito yung third law. So, anong significance itong third law? Okay, so unlike ng first law and second law, in which na-define yung kung kailan nagiging zero yung force at kung kailan nagkakaroon ng halaga yung force, itong third law is the law which states na which is about equilibrium. Okay? So, the main word here is equilibrium. So, ibig sabihin, yung third law, ibig sabihin nga, na kapag meron daw force na in-exert mo, okay? Kapag nag-exert ka ng force, mayroong equivalent force na magbabalance out ng force na in-exert mo. So, in other words, it is equilibrium. Which means that the summation of your forces is 0. Okay. So, which means, na kapag nag-exert ka ng force, for example, ito yung object mo, nag-exert ka ng force, which is equivalent to F. Okay? So, you will, okay? So, merong magka-counteract na force, which is equivalent to negative F. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, pag in-add mo yung force dito at itong force na to, magka-cancel out sila. So, magiging 0. So, posible na, okay, itong internal force na nag-act dito sa body is less than sa force na to, magkakaroon siya ng displacement. But in displacement, meron pa ring mass times acceleration. So, kung i-sum up mo lahat, yung sum up of forces mo, mag-equivalent pa rin sa 0. Okay? So, this is the equilibrium. So, therefore, it can be written as summation of forces equal to 0. Okay? So, kapag in motion siya, it could be summation of forces will be equivalent to mass times acceleration. Okay, so, dalawa lang yan. So, that is the three laws of motion. Okay, so, this is just a review.